It's time to explore the financial benefits associated with the modern-day oil boom that is sweeping the nation. Get ready for Crude Awakenings with Brandon Cox.
But we have a very, very, very special guest, the one and only, the world famous, Mr. Christopher Prickett. And for those of you who don't know, Chris called in. He was listening to the show, and I just wanted to invite Chris in. So sometimes when we hear people on the radio, they always talk about how great they are. They always talk about how great their company is, and that's natural if they're the CEO of the company. So the thing that I love about Chris is he's very direct. He's very honest. I've given him strict instructions to be blunt, to be as transparent as possible. Chris, did I pay you to come in today's show by any chance?
Not a whole heck of a lot, let me tell you.
Yeah, not at all. Not even his gas money. So he is here in his own dime, his own time. So just a big, sincere thank you. Why don't you share with the listeners kind of, that dynamic of how we got to know one another and just kind of how that has unfolded over the last few months?
Sure. Well, originally I did hear the show. I'm kind of a talk show junkie, and spinning the dial, caught you once, listened, and I don't know, maybe for about 2 minutes, the second time a little longer. By the third or fourth time, piqued my interest enough to check out the website. So I looked at the website and got a little information, Googled you to make sure you were legit,
right.
and made a call, talked to someone from the company to get more information, and we kind of went from there. Although I did go on this trip with 25, 26 other investors and potential investors. Brandon was generous enough to let me go with him about a month and a half ago when he was just heading down there. And I was kind of like a bug on his back. Interestingly enough, we dealt with a couple very long delays in airports. So we spent probably, at the airport, probably 7 or 8 hours, I'd say, each way with all the delays that we've had. And then I got to follow Brandon around while he was doing his stuff down there in the bayous of Louisiana. I met with the people, the boots on the ground, very impressed with them, and been going from there.
So what did you see that maybe you could share with the listener out there who's an oil and gas investor, who's a potential oil and gas investor?
Right.
What can you share with them that you saw out there that made you feel a little more comfortable about what we're doing?
Well, one of the neat things about this trip, this second trip in particular, was we went out to the fields, we looked at the oil leases, some of the oil leases, and lo and behold, there were other oil leases around there that were performing. And so we got to see that. And then we went back into the office and we looked at the well logs and we looked at the seismic stuff, and it tied everything together. So it's not just a guy out there with a divining rod trying to figure out where the heck oil is. It's, it's science, it's geology, it's the information that the big boys use. So it gives you a better feeling of what's, that these guys know what they're doing.
But Chris, you were out there on this trip. Why don't you just kind of use broad brush strokes here because we're short on time, but
Sure.
Kind of paint that picture for the listeners. Let them maybe encourage them if you felt like it was worth it, maybe they should attend, because we have another trip coming up to Louisiana in October.
Well, yeah, and if you have any interest at all, I certainly recommend you go out. Then the first time you used the term kicking the tires. The first time I was out there, I was kicking the tires. This time out, I took it for a test drive. And I'm leaning heavily towards making the investment, and the reason is because I tried to shoot holes in it and I couldn't. It's going out and seeing the wells producing, going out and talking to the people who are running the show, driving from place to place, seeing the other oil wells that are they're sitting there and they're pumping and they're working and they're making money. It kind of brings it all together for you, especially because most people are not savvy oil investors. You know, it's part of the learning curve. Get a level of comfort. Go out, see the stuff, ask the questions, try to find the holes, try to find the angles. And in my case, I came back with a very comfortable feeling.
And a full stomach on that as well.
This boy can eat, let me tell you, folks, whether it's in an airport, a hotel, or a restaurant.